The Astros are looking for a general manager. Jim Crane said he wants a general manager in place by the time pitchers and catchers report. That date's February 17th. We're a month away. Today's January 17th. Ken Rosenthal yesterday in The Athletic says that the Astros are actively interviewing GM candidates, according to industry insiders. The three names that have been linked to the Astros, two of them they might as well not even hire a general manager, Blinkers. The other one would be a home run I'm in love with. The first, we'll start with the bad first.
Okay.
Former Marlins president of baseball operations, Michael Hill, who has spent the last 2 seasons as Major League Baseball's senior vice president of on-field operations. That one's like okay. That one to me is just kind of a bridge until you bring somebody in that's here. I don't hate that one, but like you already have guys that can be the bridge. I don't see the sense of actually going out to get Michael Hill, former Marlins president of baseball operations. Kind of an old school guy, too. The other one that's in that list of you might as well not even hire a guy is former San Francisco Giants Bobby Evans, who also interviewed with the Astros before Crane's hiring of Click in January 2020. This is actually a Dusty Baker guy. Bobby Evans was never the GM of the Giants when Dusty Baker was there, but he was in the organization for like 2 decades, and they worked together for a long time. Never GM for Dusty as a manager, but they were in the same organization for a very long time. Might as well not even hire a general manager, in my opinion. The third name on this list, I would be over the moon about. I think it would be a home run hire and would be part of kind of carrying the Astros into that next generation. Atlanta Braves Vice President of Scouting, Dana Brown, who has overseen the drafting of the Braves for the last couple of years. He's credited for Michael Harris, Vaughn Grissom, and also Spencer Strider from the Blue Jays. He came over from the Blue Jays in January of 19. This is a dude, if you look at the Braves minor league system over the years, that's been instrumental in their minor league system, that you're looking at a guy who can come in here, win some drafts, find some gems, and carry the Astros into that new generation. The big thing with me when it comes to baseball and a general manager is they have to have a plan to sustain the success. The Astros are going to be very good for at least the next 3 years. I would say like the next 7 with the foundation that they have. But what are we looking at for the next 5 years from now on, 7 years from now on? I think the answer to solving that question is Dana Brown. If they hired Dana Brown from the Braves, who's been instrumental in all of their young players, I would be over the moon. If it's Michael Hill, if it's Bobby Evans, you might as well have Enes Cabell be your general manager.
Yeah, and you're basically saying, look, we're kind of in hold mode. We're going to do something for the case of the short term, and we're going to hope that Stearns is available at the end of the year, and that David Stern becomes the guy that whether you give him president of baseball title or some other title, he calls the shots and someone works for him. Because you're right. I mean, look, if you can get a guy with the history that the Braves have that can be credited with some, if not a majority of, when you take a Max Fried into consideration and Strider and some of the young pitchers they developed, and then you look at some of the other players that they've developed along the way, that's the kind of system that if you're going to hang your hat on that and you're going to say, hey, look, as a general manager, we need you to do other things too. But if you've got a Furcus that's going to be more of your capologist, that's going to be able to handle the numbers and do some of the analytics, and you can do by committee some of the things that you might not be as experienced in as player development and player assessment, then that's fine with me because I think that that's what this team needs. We know that they have enough holes already filled that they're just going to need to kind of infuse the young talent and keep creating the younger generation to come in and get their feet wet and be a contributing factor in the nucleus you've created and added to, then that's fine. And I think that's really intriguing to me. But if you take a guy that's been in the league office for a couple of years and now you're going to throw him into a general manager's job and say, this is the kind of guy that I couldn't do without, BS. Then I call it right away and say, this is just a plug and fill bridge that is not going to be your long-term guy. Dusty's not going to be here long term, so I don't need a Dusty guy for the long term. If Dusty likes this guy, well, then that's worthy of an interview. But I'm running the organization. I'm calling the shots. I know that I'm in it for the long term. I need a guy that's going to be analytical and structural and all the things that I just said. That I'm not looking at a guy with that kind of a history with Dusty and saying, well, that puts you a leg up. You already got those kind of guys, like you said. So I'm with you on all of those.
Give me Dana Brown. Dana Brown, UGM for the Astros, and let him go draft his tail off.